Hey everyone, Tom here, BRR, back with yet another episode with yet another guest. This is actually quite a long-awaited episode, on my part at least, because we initially did an episode, Twist, and I was an idiot, I deleted it, I'm so sorry.
That's alright, man. It's alright, at least we're finally getting to do it.
Exactly, we've got more to talk about as well, you know,
exactly,
more battles. And your last three battles, actually, Lazy Ass Jack, Canel, Mos Prob, I realised I was in the audience for, so, you know, I've experienced firsthand
Well, you were there for all three?
I was there for all three.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But, I mean, great to have you on the show, man.
Thank you, yeah, it's great to finally do it.
Yeah. And then I think we tried to do it again, and then there was some sort of unfortunate audio incident.
Yeah, there was something wrong with my phone, man, the audio thing, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, but, you know, as I say, so good to have you back on. And one of the things that I would attribute to you, you know, having seen you and having watched you and made these notes, like, I can't believe the consistency. Like, you know, every battle, you seem to come with something interesting, something developed, something really well performed and rehearsed.
Thank you very much. I do try.
Yeah. It comes off, man. And, you know, these battles were really fun to go back through. So let's start with you as just as a writer in general. Like, even before rapping or music, like, I guess most battlers have that creative streak in a sense, right?
Yeah, I suppose, I like drawing and stuff, so I'm quite artistic in that way. It was
what do you draw?
More sort of like cartoony sort of stuff.
Okay.
But I don't really draw anymore, to be honest. I don't really do it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, throughout my childhood, yeah, I'd usually be with a pen and paper, either drawing or writing, you know what I mean?
And then getting into, you know, rapping, performing, how did that start?
Well, long time ago.
Murky.
We're talking like when I first started listening to hip hop when I was about 7, because of my older brother, like he was into it. And I was always writing lyrics down and stuff. In fact, my parents actually found lyrics that I'd written out, not my own, like writing someone else's verse to learn it. And I'd like hidden it because it was full of swear words and that. And I was only 7. And my mum was quite cool about it. She just said to tell my brother, because it was my brother's music, to tell me that I'm allowed to listen to it, but, you know, not allowed to write the lyrics out.
Okay.
But I continued to do it. I just hid them a lot better. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Who were the early rappers? Who were the people's verses that you were jotting down?
Rakim, Public Enemy, mainly Rakim. It was a lot of Rakim. My brother was into NWA as well, but I think I was so young I couldn't really get into it. I didn't really understand it. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, Rakim, obviously a legend. The 18th Letter is what I'm more familiar with. I think his solo debut, but...
Well, yeah, you say that. Though growing up, I didn't really know it was him.
Okay.
And I got the 18th Letter. That's literally like one of my favourite albums.
Oh, it's such a good album. Such a good...
And
it's been a long time. Incredible song.
Yeah, amazing. And then the second disc has got all, you know, his greatest hits on it. And I was like, oh my God, these are the songs I grew up with. You know, like, I know you got Soul...
Follow the Leaders on there.
Yeah,
Ain't
Know
No
the
Joke,
Ledge. You know what I mean? And like some of these were my favourite songs. I just didn't, I was so young, and it all flooded back, and I was like, it's Rakim, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, that album's that's a big influence on me, man. Big influence, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it would happen, but we have seen it in the past with, like, you know, Joe Budden and Mr. Fab and all these other people. If Rakim came into battle rap, I'd love to see that.
Versus Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
A battle. You know
well, I mean, King Los, who's an incredible rapper in his own right, very successful, is coming on RBE against Daylight. I don't know if you're aware of that. So,
is that the guy, the freestyler guy?
Yeah, he's one of the most celebrated. Yeah, his freestyles are mad.
Yeah, he's incredible. I've seen loads of his videos. Yeah. Oh, is that him then? I didn't realise.
That's him. Yeah, so
sick.
Alongside Murder Mook's Return versus Averb and Iron Solomon Big Head. Yeah, it's an incredible card. So going from Rakim, going from jotting the verses into battle rap, like how did you first become aware?
Well, I was battling, you know, back at school.
Okay.
Like battling my mates and stuff. We'd sit there and we almost did it like diss tracks. So you'd sit and write something, and then go, oh, here's your diss, and then you'd get like half a day or whatever to like write your reply.
Okay.
So we were doing it, you know, more like modern day battle rap. If you know what I mean, because we were writing it, we weren't freestyling. We were actually like writing diss tracks for each other. But then I'd go to like, you know, go to gigs or whatever, and pretty much every gig I've ever been to, I'd get on the open mic and then either turn that into a battle or outside the venue start freestyling and start a battle with people. I was just constantly doing it. This is like, you know, before Jump Off or Don't Flop or any of that. I was always doing it. I used to, when we used to do pirate radio, we used to get people to send in messages like to give us random words to use for our freestyles to prove that we were freestyling. And someone started insulting me, so I just like started laying into them. You know what I mean? I was just constantly on the attack with the lyrics, if you know what I mean.
Were you Mr. Tongue Twister then?
Yeah, I was Mr. Tongue Twister since I was, I think it was about 15, 16. Before that, I was known as Muttley Child.
Okay.
Like everyone was like, you know, Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg.
Okay,
my mate was called Doggy Doodah Bone. That didn't last that name very long. And I was Muttley Child. But we were in a group called MOB, which this is so funny, which stood for Money Over Bitches.
Okay.
and it, like I was like, that's like a Tupac thing. And I joined the group later on. And I was like, look, I don't want to be called that. And like, so we kept it as MOB. And whenever anyone would ask us, we're like, oh, we actually, it's a secret. You know what I mean? And never told anybody.
Okay. You know, the name fits, I think, and the name is very battle rappy. It doesn't feel dated. It feels like something out of Grind Time or early Don't Flop to me. Feels vintage, feels lived in. It gets flipped a lot by people. It's a fun name to have in a battle writing wise as well. And, you know, it's very tricksy. So this sort of element to you then that I mentioned before, the practice element, you know, the intricate multis, the interlacing of the writing. Going forward, like, how are you practicing this craft?
It's just literally just over and over. I try not to start the writing too early or too late. Yeah. If that makes sense. Because if you started too early, you end up getting bored of the material, and obviously if you leave it too late, you're just rushing everything. So I try and plan it, you know, to start jotting ideas down and then just, forming it all on my phone, just little notes here and there, just when I get the ideas. And then as it gets closer, you know, we're talking like a couple of weeks away, that's when I start doing my research, you know, because I'll know my opponent usually. I'll know like their name or a little bit about them, and it's like, right, now I'm going to sit and watch their battles. And a lot of that is to make sure that I haven't, you know, said something that's already been said to them before. Because I get well annoyed when I watch someone who does like 30 battles and watch all of theirs to make sure and like edit my material. And then I battle someone and they say fucking like, what is the one they always say, like natural disaster or something? Like Twister. Just, and you hear the same lines over and over, and it's like, come on, man, like do your research. Or like mum's sister, you know, the auntie mum's sister. That's why I pull that face when Cannell says that line. I'm just like, come on, like this has been said. In fact, the first person to say that to me was Sting of the Dump.
So you come into Don't Flop first quarter 2012, you know, famously the first battle of the year, of an incredible year, you know, and you also were the first battle of the following year as well. And what you meant to be the next battle of 2014 as well, the first one. Oh,
what, against Enigma?
Against Enigma, yeah.
Yeah, but he kind of sort of slipped out of it by that point. To be honest, even though it was a year apart, I was kind of glad it didn't happen. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm running out of things to say.
Yeah. So,
but then after a couple of years, he was talking about coming back. I think it must have been, if we did 12, I think it was 2015. There was talks of him coming back, and I actually, to the point where I actually started seeing if I could come up with any ideas.
Right.
And I had a couple of things for him, but he never actually really returned. You know what I mean? I'd to be honest, I still might be up for it if he was up for it.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
It's been a long time since he's battled, though. I think I'd destroy him now, to be honest.
You're a bit more practiced, yeah, I think, definitely. A bit sharper.
George is found in an empty room and this guy is just hanging. There's a puddle underneath him. How and why did this happen? Melted ice cube? Wrong! Violent attacking, I decided to hang him and spat in his face while I was rapping. And I don't understand why he's here, stood here battling the Twister, when it's pretty obvious you lack the talent, the skill and the charisma. So how he was allowed into the tryouts now, that's an enigma. Oh.
This was 2012, as I say. Don't Flop had been around a while, battle rap online, UK scene, overseas, whatever. It's, you know, been popping for a long time. So why the delay for you to get involved if clearly you'd been battling rapping for, you know, as long as it had been active?
Well, I'll be honest with you, right? When I used to watch Jump Off, and I actually did Jump Off, and I went there and I won it. And the footage never came out for whatever reason, and I was really fucked off about it. Then I did another battle at Battle Scars, and won the first round, and in the second round I went up against the reigning champ, and a lot of people said I should have won. Whatever, you know what I mean? That's here nor there. But again, the footage never came out, and I was really pissed off about it. And, you know, like watching sort of Jump Off crumble, I was very dubious about Don't Flop.
Okay.
But I'd been watching it right from the beginning, and after a couple of years, it started to get quite big, and I was like, this is sick. I want to do a tryout. I was watching it all the time.
Okay.
Like trying to get all my friends into it. Some of them were getting, you know, sick of it. Some of them were getting well into it themselves as well. The first time I went was actually just two guys I worked with. They'd got well into it and King of the Dot. And they took me down there. But by this point, I'd already been planning to do my tryout. But it was like, I was trying to put this mixtape together, and it was just basically a / album. Like, kept changing from a mixtape to an album. And in the end, fell through for whatever reason. And I was just hoping to have something to, you know what I mean? Because as long as you know that I've done, you know, battling, I've only put a few songs out. I wanted to go there like as a rapper and be like, look, I'm an actual rapper. Here's my music. Like, so if my opponents want to research, they can use it. You know what I mean? I wanted to be, and it just never happened. So I kept putting it off. And then MIDI Intellect had basically done Battle Scars as well, and he did a battle against Kruger and beat him, and he met and Kruger, and they asked him to do a tryout. So I said, all right, cool. Well, you do your tryout first. I'll come along and I'll watch, get a feel of it. Because at this point, I still hadn't been. This is between when I went. And I thought, yeah, I'll come along, get a feel for what, you know, what the day's like, and just, you know, get a bit more experience and feel like, you know what I mean? Rather than just to turn up and do my tryout like a lot of people do. I wanted to, you know, see what it was like. They wanted MIDI to battle like somewhere up north, and he wasn't willing to go. So he waited until... that it was the end of 2011, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to wait till you've done yours first, see how that goes. He did that, went up against Mr. 13, it was really well. And by this point, though, I had actually been to a couple of events. I'd been like a couple of times.
What had you seen? What battle stood out?
Tenchu versus...
Big Cannon?
Big Cannon,
Oh, man.
It's amazing. It's amazing. If you actually watch carefully in that battle... Because I remember thinking, like, I was really like wanted to have my music done. I wanted to go, but like I didn't want to be seen on camera, so I tried to purposely stand behind the camera, but still get quite close, not realizing how many cameras there are. when the fight actually kicks off, no one clocks it. Like people, like they're still rapping, and like, people are all looking. And if you look, the camera turns around, and I'm the first person to clock it. And it's like, like the first event I've ever been to, or maybe the second event I've ever been to, and I'm shook. I'm just like, oh my god! Like everyone on stage is kicking off, and you see me point like in a little panic. But yeah, no, it was So that point, I went at MIDI's tryout. I remember talking to and it was really weird. I remember being so nervous, like because I don't actually get nervous for my battles. Like, I know, like a lot of my mates who battle, you know, a lot of guys I know through the scene. They all get quite nervous. Majority of people do. Like, I get nervous before gigs. I get nervous, you know, if I've ever had to do a speech. But when I battle, I don't know. I just sort of get in the zone. But when I was talking to I just was like, oh my God, it's finally going to happen. You know, I've been watching it for years, and it was quite a big deal to me, you know what I mean, to actually finally do it. And I sent him, he was like, yeah, just send me a link. Sent him my link, and he was like, yeah, I've got a great opponent for you. And it was obviously Enigma. And when he sent me the link as well, I didn't know who was Enigma and who was Sam Pepper.
Okay.
He did that video with Sam Pepper, and at first I thought it was Sam Pepper, and I thought, what the fuck? Like, this guy's going to get destroyed, you know what I mean? And then Enigma come in, and I was like, okay, this guy can do multis, and, you know, like, let's see what he's got. But he actually said to me, Enigma said to me, right, because he was so disgusted in that tryout. Like, so, I mean, I said some fucked up shit, because that's just my style. And he had done research, and he is a disgusting guy, but he'd heard like a couple of my songs and thought I was going to be like the most vulgar battle rapper ever, and he wanted to like outdo me. So he came with all the Jamie Bolger lines and stuff, which I proper disapprove of, to be honest. Like, you can't see my face, but I was like, oh, come on, man. But you know, he kind of just ran with that. Like, he did that style worked in his trial, and he was like, fuck it, I'm just going to be this guy. Like, and he was just, you know, like, almost like horrorcore, like.
Yeah, this is the first quarter event, as I say. Amount of talent here that debuts is probably like nothing else in the history of battle rap, maybe. This is a ground zero for...
As tryouts go, yeah, I don't think there probably ever will be.
No, certainly not. It was era-defining, you know, epoch-making. We had C Major debuting here alongside yourself and Enigma, Ogmios, Bamalam, Impact, Callum Boom, Lefty, Eek, Shake Spliff even is there. With Orcs as well. And whenever we talk about this event, I always point out, looks so incredibly happy here. there, so contented, and why shouldn't he be? You know, he is absolutely beaming, because Don't Flop is becoming a massive thing, already has been really to this extent, but now the new generation is coming through. This is the first battle of 2012, as I say. Is rocking the woolly shower hat, and you go first, and you get into it, and quite quickly there's a comfort level here. The crowd reacted to you.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I do think since my tryout, I've improved in loads of different areas. But like the confidence and performance I already had, and a lot of that was due to just being like a super fan and thinking I know what I'm doing, but also being a rapper and a battle rapper. You know what I mean? I've already done this, but I haven't really tried this format. But a lot of it was because when I spoke to Enigma outside, he seemed so nervous that just made me feel less nervous.
Okay.
And then came up and he said, right, I think you guys are going to be really good, so I want you guys to go first, which just filled me with even more confidence. And I was like, hold on, this is, I mean, I'm ready for this, man. Everyone knows I'm the shit. No one knew who I was, but I was just in this mentality. Yeah. And the reason I actually won the coin toss and chose to go first, which I massively regret because he got that flip in the third. And it was because there was basically a really horrible smell coming from the toilet. And I can't remember the exact words, but I was going to say something about the smell was coming from him or something, where he'd shit his pants. Okay. And like right at the last minute, I thought, no, this is crap. Why am I saying this? And just did my verse anyway. But it seemed to work all right. The first verse went down quite well.
Yeah. You dwell on his name, Edward Enigma, same name as a genius retard. Wouldn't be surprised if they found if you slightly had downs, and the sort of attack that you deliver that with, really enjoy that. How he was allowed into tryouts, that's an Enigma. And Enigma's first round is unbelievable, really. I think it was something quite new for Don't Flop. I mean, I know horrorcore and outrage had been done before, but the sort of eccentric literary pen behind it, I think, was quite enchanting.
Yeah, it's and the speed he delivers it at as well, which we've obviously had loads of battlers that rap fast. Even before him, like you had, like Zen had not long been out. I think he tried out just before MIDI, so he was like, just before us, and he had quite a rapid flow. But Enigma had, because he wasn't really a rapper, like there was no real, almost like no rhythm to it, which actually played in his favour because it was just so scatty and all over the shop that he was quite unpredictable. But yeah, some of his stuff is just hilarious, man. Like me and him became quite close because we are quite similar people with similar rap styles, and we both come in to the tryouts, at the same time. So we kind of like, got a bit friendly in those first sort of 6 months, and then we had to battle again.
You try and match him on the disgusting-ometer here. Shaggy's now on a stair lift. Beat the shit out of his granddad who wants to bang with a colostomy bag.
No. Is that the line? No, it's dropping his bag. No, I beat the shit out of him with a colostomy bag. I see. That was it. With his own colostomy bag.
With his own colostomy bag, yeah. And,
see, that at the time, I remember writing that thinking, oh my God, that's amazing. I thought that was and looking back on it, it's not a bad line, but that was like, the height of my sort of like wordplay at the time. You know what I mean?
It was jokes. It was a post-lunar world, wasn't it, to a certain extent?
Well, that's why I thought it was the perfect time for me to jump in as well. Like, because that's, I didn't just watch Lunacy and be like, oh, I like that style. It was just like, it's just all fucking jokes and mum jokes and taking the piss and having a laugh. Like, it's just like, that's what I do. But, whilst rapping, like, even on a song, it's just like, I'll fit in perfectly.
And the attack continues with the third for you. Focus on Enigma being weak, his biceps like Brussels sprouts, and you have the look like his mom got raped in the arse by a baby giraffe. Which Enigma, as you said earlier, has the flip and reveals that it was a MySpace thing from you.
Well, no, that was actually from my jump off battle.
Right.
And I like I say, the footage hadn't come out, but one of my mates recorded it, like a little clip of it on their phone, like quite shit quality. And I put that on my MySpace because, Jump Off never put it up. And I was like, oh, here's my battle, And I said that line and that. And honestly, my mate said to me, he was like, don't reuse that line. I was like, why? Because, well, what if he's seen it? And I was like, how would he see it? The footage didn't even come out. And I really just didn't think that he would, do his research that much.
Yeah, he's sleuthy. That's the
thing, if I could have either chose not to say that or but basically just, if I had gone second as well, because I had the choice, he wouldn't have got to do the flip, And it was just so I literally everyone said I only just lost the battle, and it was you know what I mean. It was a bit annoying, but
yeah. Is winning important to you? Do you want to take the W?
Yeah, definitely. But I'll be honest, that battle, like I came away from it with my head well high.
Oh yeah,
I was so happy. Like I'd finally done my tryout. I got I got all my shit out. No stumbles. It was like a clean performance. And yeah, I lost, but it's like said he was definitely going to get me back. Like he really enjoyed my stuff. And even when I came to the next event, people were like quoting my bars to me from that battle.
Right.
Like what was it? The Batty Man line. Everyone used to give me this Batty Man, and I was just like, this is fucking surreal. Like, and then Mickey came up to me knowing who I was as well. He was so, and I was just like, oh, fucking hell. It was just weird, man.
I mean, good happy times, right, in Don't Flop land. I think there were lots of opportunities as well to perform. You had 5 uploads in your first year, this being 2012. And, I mean, a lot of different appearances here. You battled Young Mace, was your second one. Grim Sickers as well followed.
I'll be honest, I was randomly thinking about that battle earlier because someone was talking about how he opened up for the Streets. I'm going to see the Streets next year.
Right.
And, like, he's all right. I've heard a couple of his tunes. He's actually all right on beat, but I'll be honest, I hope he doesn't hear this. But he is hands down the worst opponent I've ever had.
Wow.
And I've had some bad guys. His battle before was much better. He was trying to say different, I don't know, but...
Okay.
Yeah, terrible battle.
That's
terrible
cool.
battle.
That's cool about the street support, though. Didn't know that. That's
yeah. I only found out recently. I knew he was blowing up a bit, and then found out he was supporting them, which is quite cool.
Yeah, just looking at his verse tracker now, his first battle was against Barn B, which did take place
He was
at
funny
the
in that.
same
He was
event you were
funny
at.
in
Yeah.
that.
He also battled on Words of Weapons twice, which is interesting. Little defunct league.
He was quite good in that because it was like on beat. That's what he was better at. I remember watching that and thinking, fucking hell, he's much better on beat than he is a cappella. Just some people, I think, when they're so in tune to being on beat when they do it a cappella. Because I think what he did in his first battle, he was rapping quite fast, like and one of his mates or the comments or somebody said to him, slow down. So when he battled me and he wasn't rapping, he was just proper talking. It's like, right, you need to listen, blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, fucking hell. Like, it just really didn't work, man.
Okay. And towards the close of the year, an event a lot of people don't really think about anymore for Don't Flop. That was their 2012 Birmingham event. This is day 2 of Birmingham.
Yo, you act like you and Rowan are best mates. Get off Er's boner. You're not Rowan's mate. You're just Er's chauffeur. He rings you up like, yeah man, let's go on a quick trip, a little festival jaunt. So only rings for a lift, or if there's an electrical fault. And then you'll battle against Shawnee boy. You came across as a faggoty dumb wigger. In your second round, you fucked up. You need to come hard in your battles and come sicker. You tried to say, it's criminal, this shit riddling, but you didn't. You rap like a dumb spitter, and that's the opposite of when I'm smashing your young sister, because she can handle a tongue twister and naturally come quicker.
We also had, other battles here were Brucey versus Big J.
Funny battle.
Yeah, Young Mace versus Seta, Double L versus Euphorical.
That was a great battle.
Yeah.
You had Figgy Bob as well, Blizzard versus
Roan.
That was so funny.
Yeah,
I was so drunk during that as well. Tell you what else happened that weekend. It was the day before was Marlowe's debut.
Marlowe's debut, yeah.
I remember
Josh
watching
Fox.
that because I missed it and then watching it being like, what the fuck? Because I'd already seen a bit of Shuffle T and he was getting a little bit better because he was okay in his tryout. And he was getting a little better and better to the point where like, this guy could be good. And then Marlo came out in his tryout and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Marlo.
I've never seen anyone like perform.
Oh,
do it like proper that theatrical. It was something else. I was like, wow, like this guy's really big. Like,
Yeah. I always remember, because I think there was another tryout, Murta versus Sword in QC, and looks pissed off because you can tell that this is a disappointing tryout compared to Marlo, and it's not up to his exacting standards, so shout out Murta as always. But yeah, Mickey introducing this battle, Rowan at the back as well, big crowd here, sizable.
Yeah, I'll be honest, because I listen to the show every now and then, you hear people say like, oh, the crowd were off that day. And they really were. It was like that, and like another event, I feel like Amsterdam. Like, and though if you look at the bigger events, the bigger battles, the reactions are much bigger, but they're still not as big as they could have been for a battle of that caliber. You know what I mean? And our battle, me versus Natrill, I honestly think is a really good battle. I'll probably say that's my most slept on battle. I really rate Natrill. I think he was really good. It's a very debatable battle. It could have gone either way. I just thought it was a good battle, but the crowd, I don't know, were just a bit. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because like we were like no names, they didn't know who we were, and it took them a while to sort of warm up, or it took us a while to warm up. But yeah, some good lines in it for both of us. I really like that. It's a good rewatchable battle, but it has like it's really low amount of views. I'll tell you what it was. The reason that is actually I think did quite badly is because it was supposed to come out and then it didn't come out, and then it was not going to come out for like 3 months. Then it was going to come out on this day, and then it didn't. And then they eventually dropped it on Christmas Eve at like 10 o'clock. And then on Christmas Day, they dropped Enigma versus Big Sarters, the Grinch versus... So it was like completely overshadowed, do you know what I mean? It was just forgotten about.
Right.
And I was a bit, because I had to wait like a couple of months to see that battle. And I was like, when it came out, it was good, but just no one was watching it. And I was, I'd had quite a good year, you know what I mean? Like, not compared to a lot of the other tryouts, but like, my views were up and down, and then it just went... And like, I've got, or had a battle on the demo channel that had like more views than that.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck, you know what I mean?
I know. Hopefully, we can draw people to this battle because, as you say, it is a really interesting watch. And I like how
I rate Natrill, and at the time, Natrill, like I was a bit of a bigger name than him. You know what I mean? But we were both very like unknown. But he's obviously a lot. Even though he doesn't really battle anymore, he's just done a couple of legendary battles. Oh yeah. And he's like sort of solidified himself in the history books, like for being one of the greats on beat. But if you go back and look at his his a cappella battles, there's always great writing in there.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And then in this battle, there he has some fucking great stuff. Yeah, I really like it, man.
Yeah, you out him as Ur's chauffeur, not his mate.
Yeah, basically. The thing is as well, why that was so bad is because they had kind of fallen out. Like they weren't like they didn't hate each other, but they got quite matey. And then just sort of, I don't know, when people just hang around, because they both live in Norwich, when people just hang around with each other and you start to get under each other's feet. So you still stay mates, but you just sort of distance yourself a bit. And like I was quite close to Natrill, so I knew all the ins and outs of this. And me and Natrill were going back and forth on Twitter, and then like chipped in trying to take the piss, and I was like, yeah, I know that I just said something about him sucking his dick or something to get his tryout, some bullshit, like shit talking before the battle. And I was like, don't mention my name, rah rah, and all this. And I was just like, and it just inspired me more. I just thought it's just I've got to like not. I think there was actually some stuff that I wrote that I was like, I can't say that. Do you know what I mean? I had to actually take it out, so I kept it quite light-hearted with the chauffeur stuff. And that's why Mickey thought he was like one of the only, because he used to drive him around, not like a chauffeur, but he drove and didn't. And like Mickey knew that. So like when I brought that up, like Mickey was like, well, one of the only people who knew it. That's half my problem, man. I'm just constantly doing in jokes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting, and I think it pops off as something. I think you are right as well. The crowd are a little lackluster in parts. You talk about him ripping other people off, writing wise. Put a stop to gnats biting like a mosquito net.
Completely slept on, man.
Fire.
I really like that line. I like that line. It was just slept
fire.
on. I was just like, they reacted to some stuff, but that stuff, it was just like, oh.
Yeah, love that line. And yeah, Naturill's good here. I do think you win though. And at the end mentions that it's Naturill's birthday, but he still loses.
I know, it's so harsh. Like,
yeah.
I just did that, and it was really awkward because like we are mates, and like I remember thinking, win or lose, like I've got to say something about because he's not very good at his promoting. You know what I mean? And I've got nothing to promote, so I was like, make sure if I win or lose to say something about his EP coming out, and it is really sick. I wasn't just doing it because we were mates. It was like he has got a sick EP coming out, and just the way delivers it, he's just like, oh, and by the way, it's Naturill's birthday. I just didn't want to sway the fans or whatever, but the happier person leaving today, something like that, and it's just oh, that's so awkward, man. I actually felt quite guilty. Like I was, I bought him a drink though. I was like, yeah, happy birthday, mate.
But you win because of your third. I think your third is brilliant. You're going on his nose, being blatantly bigger. It looks like Liam Bagnall if he hadn't eaten at all.
Yes, that line there. It's not like when I wrote it, I was like, oh, that's very Kruger-esque.
Yeah.
But Kruger came up to me and he said, that line, I fucking love that line.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, thinking about it, that is really Kruger-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I won't lie, he's a massive influence.
Oh, he's the best.
He is like, one of my favourites.
Absolutely.
Like, has been for a long time, man. Even though he doesn't battle anymore, I don't care. It's like Tenchu doesn't battle. He's still one of my favourites. That whole style, you know what I mean? Humour and fucking wittiness. Love it. Yeah,
one of your closing lines as well in the third is great. He begged for it. When they do an autopsy, it won't say Natrill caused this. They'll say Natrill caused this.
This is the first time I was trying to, I think, really like push my more sort of like bars because I knew I was going up against Natrill. It's weird because I think a lot of people know that I'm going to do a few bars, but depending on who I'm facing, I'm like, oh, they do a bit of jokes as well. So they're because they're going against me, they might do loads of jokes. And it's like, oh, do I approach it by doing more bars? But I always try to do a bit of both. But because it was Natrill and I rated him, I liked his writing. I concentrated on the bars a lot more. Like the jokes come naturally to me. Do you know what I mean? I just write them, blah, 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 blah. But the bars, I'm sort of sitting there working out, tweaking them, like, and I really sort of, I had some good stuff in there. I thought, yeah.
Next battle that I want to talk about, pretty controversial battle, well-known battle. Love this battle. Summer Standard, Day 1 versus Bleek.
And you can see him at any event trying to act like a blatant geezer. And if we're outside blazing reefers, a chick approaches, he tries to wink, but they escape and leave us because it looks like his facial features are having major seizures. And when you battled Double L, at the end of each round, you had nothing to say. So you said, uppercut, you like that bus driver? And trust me, that's gay. And that video clip is something I hate, but I bet you love it a great. Like, ooh, look at that woman get punched in the face.
As soon as you said Summer Standard, I was like, yes. Do you know what? I fucking love this battle.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
Absolutely love it. Like, there was a point where, like, I just didn't want to watch it. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, because I'll put my hands up and honestly say I do watch my battles like quite a bit. My friends will probably be listening to this and be like, yeah, a little bit. Like, I do. I'm like, let's watch my new battle. I'll get everyone around. And so, I say, I watch them when my friends watch. But really, I put it on and make everyone watch it. You know what I mean? But what was I saying?
About Bleek, battling Bleek.
Battling Bleek. Oh, I can't remember the point.
How did it start? I mean, because obviously there's a lot of tension between you guys, a lot of controversy around Bleek altogether at this point. What's the background briefly?
Well, basically, he was one of these people. It's happening to me at the moment as well. And what I do, where people like try and, I don't want to say troll, but people hate, but people who don't like me, certain battlers. But I just don't bite to it. But like when I saw Bleek in person, because it was really starting to piss me off, and a lot of the time he wasn't, he wasn't like he was atting me on Twitter. You know what I mean? Someone else would see it and at me, and I'd see it, and it just started to really fuck me off because he's so shit. Like he's like so awful, and I thought, oh my god, of all the battlers to be telling me that I'm shit, it's like the shittest person in Don't Flop, and it really wound me up. And I was like, I don't want to battle him. Like I was just like, no fucking way, I'm not battling him. He's shit, but he's just annoying me. And I saw him in person at an event, and not like on a big man team, but you know what I mean. I did go up to him and be like, what the fuck? Like why are you chatting all this shit about me all the time? And he was like, no. Blah, blah, blah. And then came up and was like, oh my god, you two need to battle, right? Like, even started doing impressions of me, and like to see someone, because no one had really done it in a battle yet, you know what I mean? I was doing an impression of me, and I was like, oh my god, that's fucking really weird. Basically, had been exposed on Twitter, and we were all laughing about it. Everyone thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I just said, I was like, I'll battle him now, because I thought it was funny. And the thing is, the more I found out about him, the more I hated him. Like I couldn't give a shit now, to be honest. But at the time, I was quite like, oh my god, he's an actual cunt, rah, rah. And he was, he'd been fucking chatting shit about me for about a year or so anyway, so I didn't particularly like him anyway. And where we were just been chatting shit to online, had words in person, I got more and more heated, and did say, he was like, oh, this is a grudge match, and it really fucking was. Like, we literally nearly had a fight before the battle started. Like there was no like cameramen, no Bagnor or any of them, or they were all outside just getting the last few people in. And I just walked in, and like the circle was in the middle of the pit or whatever. And Bleek's there, and he's like just being silly and doing some little weird dance, and I'm just like dancing behind him, taking the piss out of him. And like everyone laughed at him, and he got really pissed off, squared right up to him. It's right in the middle of the pit, and I'm not going to say like I'm a tough guy or I'm a pussy, because I'm probably neither, somewhere in between. But if someone gets in my face, I will fight them. I'll probably lose most of the time, but I happen to be with like really fucking, like Middy's brother is fucking mental, and he's massive, and like he would have killed everybody in there. Right. So I was kind of like, part of me was actually trying to defuse it when I realised it nearly started to kick off, because I could see like my mate stood behind him, like fucking pushing his chest out. But yeah, he basically came up to me, was like, what are you doing? He starts poking on my chest, and I just smack his hand away, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And it escalated from there. And then I was just like, wait, because I was certain I was going to beat him. So I was like, wait to the battle, just fuck it. I'm not fighting you, mate. I'm going to battle you and I'm going to destroy you. And it was like, we were in each other's faces. And then we walked away. And then Earl walks in, like, oh, everybody ready? You know, and it was like oblivious to it all. And then, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of personals, a lot of brutal stuff in your first, especially. He gets on with his ex like a house on fire.
I remember showing that to Marlo and Shuffle too. It's quite friendly. I mean, I'm still friendly with them now, but at the time we were chatting a lot and like showing each other bars. Hence why they're in it. They actually do a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that line, and they were just like, fucking it. It's like my opening line. I don't often have like one of my biggest lines like right at the beginning, but I wanted to like address it in a certain way and just sort of kind of throw people off guard. And when I showed it to them too, and hearing them laugh so much, it's just like, yeah, this is fucking going off, man. It's definitely going off, like.
And continuing that theme, one of your closing lines from the first looks like he escaped from a burning building.
Do you know what?
Yeesh.
That line I actually deliver wrong.
Okay.
Because the way a bar is structured, do you know what I mean? There needs to be like a pause for the length of it, and it was be like, or did you escape from a burning building? You know, and it was like that, and I actually deliver it wrong. Like I just kind of rush it, but because it's quite like out there line, it still gets a reaction anyway. But yeah, that was
And I dig Bleek's style in this one. I like his bluntness. I like his attack. He talks of the mean streets of Hersham. Talks of a true story about you that he read online. www.myspace.com/whatever his name is.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that
was really good. He's the thing is that he's a great performer. Like he's really, really good at performing. But like I said, there was a point where I just didn't want to watch it. And if I did ever watch it, I'd just skip his rounds. And then I don't know when the last time I watched it, but I don't skip his rounds anymore. It's so funny. Yeah. It's so funny, like unintentionally, but it is hilarious. Like some of the stuff he comes out with. Some of it's really good as well, to be fair. But
yeah, it's a hodgepodge, certainly. I love at the end of your second, Bleek didn't start the fire.
I was actually supposed to continue that with, yes, he did, he's a fucking liar, and then say time, but everyone reacted so much, I was just like, fuck it, time, stop it there.
Yeah, loads of amazing shit from you in the third as well. Wesley Snipes, if you didn't exercise and went under a sunbed for 20 nights. Yeah.
I actually come up with that bar for him like long before we were even beefing. It was just one of them lines. I just thought, I don't want to battle him. Maybe I'll use it on someone else. It's just like a freestyle or something. And then we eventually were going to battle, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that line's funny. I'll use that.
And Bleek didn't really battle much beyond. I think he had like 2 or 3 battles about Innuendo, Locksmith.
Yeah, he was quite good in the Innuendo one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I tell you what, I will say this now, because you know when you just get random punchlines for battlers that just float around in your head, even if you haven't seen the battle in years. When he battled Impact, that was his best performance, and I'm gonna say this, yeah. I honestly believe that he didn't write this line. Not that I think he's shit, because well, he is shit, but I mean, he has moments of greatness though, at the same time, or averageness that make it whatever. But this line, it's not only is it great, it just doesn't sound like something you'd say. But if he did, hats off to him, because I love this line. He said to Impact, he goes, "Your skin complexion is like sandy beaches. You look like Andy Peters, but with less manly features." That is just so good. Like, so do you know what I mean? Like he isn't like the worst. Though at the time, that's how I felt. I was like, he's the worst battle rapper ever. But then, you know, he has moments.
And around this time, you went away with the boys to Outlook in Croatia, right?
Yeah. And I realised, you know, I was quite gutted about that loss, but that was like the last battle to be uploaded, and like loads of people were recognising me, you know, in another country and coming up to me going, "Oh, I saw your battle with Bleek, you should have won." So I was fucking buzzing, like so many people recognised me. At one point, basically we had these VIP things on, and like on the other side of it, you know, like round your neck thing. Yeah. And when you turn it, if you turn it around, it says Mr. Tongue Twister on it, and a couple of people actually come up to me and turned it and was like, "Oh my god, I thought it was you." And then later on, whatever day it was, someone come up to me and went to do it and turned it, and I'm thinking, it's me, and they thought it was a map. And they were like, "Oh, sorry, mate, I just thought it was a map," and they walked off, and I was like, "Oh." But yeah, I was with Natrill the whole time, and like he was getting really annoyed because no one was recognising him. But what I think a lot of it is, because Mr. 13 was a bigger name than me, and I was with him a lot of the time, and people were coming up to me, and I think a lot of it's about how approachable you are. Like I think because of my style is quite, you know, goofy or whatever you want to call it, silly. I probably seem like a guy. Oh, hey, I can have a laugh with him. Whereas Mr. 13, you know, it's all like, oh, fucking at your funeral, and you wouldn't expect it. But Mr. 30, he's the nicest guy. Like, he's so much fun. He's like, you know, I love that guy. I've got loads of time for him, man. Had a great time with him in Croatia.
Absolutely, yeah. It seemed like a great time. You know, we've covered a few of the battles. There was a long-form documentary about it. I think that was on the Demo Battles extra channel, so maybe that's been excised, unfortunately. Yeah, I did a little bit about that on the channel, my Battle Resume channel. We did like an Exploring Don't Flop extra, so check that out. I think that's the only archive, really, of that footage at the moment. I don't know where it is. But next battle I want to talk about, you versus G-Force over there, you know, in Ireland. This seems like, again, another really fun excursion.
Yeah, it was great. I got to travel with Impact and Fahida, his girlfriend, his wife, actually, now. For, I think, that was the second time. And then we went to Germany again. So it was quite cool, you know what I mean? I got very close to Impact. And shout out Funzo, man. Funzo, who's like quite big out there. And he you know, is a massive fan, like, of battle rap. And he's always been supporting it. He actually put us up, so we got to stay at his house. And we actually had a night there after the battles, and there was like Definition and Nugget, and we were all doing like grind time type of freestyles, like, you know, like the setups, you know, the type of setups. And just Definition is just the funniest person ever. Like, he's exactly like he is in his battles in real person. But yeah, Nugget, they're a couple of legends. It was fucking great, man.
Yeah, this was yeah. You sort of clowned on his name quite well as well in the first, I thought, because when you see it on paper, it's not clear exactly that it's G-Force, but then when you realise that it is, it's very clear. And you mentioned that your mom was from Ireland.
Yes, she is. Yeah, and I thought, you know, I don't really like talking about, you know, my family or certain things, to give certain things away, but I was like, it's too much of a good line not to use, and it went off as well because it was like, my granddad is from Dublin and my nan is from Ballybunion, and it just multis. Like, my dad is from London, my nan is from Ballybunion, and my granddad is from Dublin. And it's one of them things where it just naturally rhymes without being forced. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, we were in Dublin, and he wasn't from Dublin. He was from elsewhere. So I was just like, and it really did work. That line was probably one of the better reactions I got. It's always good to sort of. I like to do both. I kind of cater to the locals, and then I, you know, diss them as well quite a lot of the time.
This is a good battle. G-Force is someone that I wasn't necessarily too familiar with, to be honest with you, but I'll definitely be checking out more of his stuff. You know, impressed by quite a few of his lines. He calls you a malnourished R.A. the Rugged Man, and Google it, he offers...
Spot on.
It's pretty amazing.
And then if you look at me now, where I've got more facial hair, and I've put on a bit of weight, I basically just look like fucking... You know, the Rugged Man. Right. It just literally looked like it. It was like, it was one of them ones, because I do look like a lot of people, and when he said it, I was like, yeah, you got me there.
Yeah, it's pretty precise.
The thing about him, though, is he is good in that battle, but if you watch some of his other battles, he's so much better. And I get really annoyed when people, like, I don't know if it's because they just think, oh, he's a bit shit, I won't try, or it's just one of them things, you know, sometimes you're a bit uninspired, but I was a bit like, I expected you to be a bit better, you know, like...
Yeah, exactly. There was, it was. I thought some stuff stood out, and you know, you yourself as well got some good reaction, clowning a lot on his music. You know, him talking out the side of his mouth, half English, Irish stereotypes are explored. The reaction was strong here from the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, I think this was the first time, because in the Natrill battle, in that third round, like you said, the third round was like, it was probably the best round of the battle for, you know, both of us. But that's the first time I ever, you know, proper stumbled / sort of choked. Because I go, fuck! Yeah. And then I just skip it out. I wrote that bar like 3 days before and just fucking chucked it in. And then learned, oh, don't do that. Don't tweak anything because it will throw you off. But I managed to just pull it off. You know, I just went, fuck! And just sort it out and just moved straight on. And I think, you know, the judges saying, I don't think they really discredit me for it. But... after that, I think I've just been clean. Before that, all clean performances. That's what people talk about, my consistency. Do you know what I mean? I felt quite, you know what I mean? And then in this battle, though I did have some great stuff, I do think it's my second or something. It's not my first. My first came out quite well. I think it's like my second, maybe beginning of my third. Like, I just fall apart a couple of times. Just there's little gaps between like bars, and I'm like, oh, and it's the first time it ever happened to me, and you could see me struggling. And it was, I'll tell you what it was. I literally just remembered, I dropped my phone down the toilet around my friend's house,
Right.
and it had all my bars on it. It was I think it was like 2 weeks before the battle, so it was to the point where I was just about to start putting everything on paper and put it into rounds, and I'm pretty sure I forgot like a whole bit and left it out, but I managed to sort of remember most of it in my head and rewrite it out, and I was kind of rushed with it a bit. I don't want to make excuses, but that. I think that was the reason that played a big part in why I sort of fucked up. But I'm like you say, I did get good reactions. What I managed to get out. Well, I got all my material up. But I will say as well, actually, my second round was just loads of like fat jokes, and they really fell flat. I think it just didn't really. And you could see almost at that point that this was when bars were starting to take over, and you could still be funny, but you can't just use like generic fat jokes like.
Yeah, I mean, this is 2 years and a half since your debut, so you're pretty deep into it at this point, experienced anyway, but just refining that craft. And your work ethic has continued pretty much up to this point, so this is around the GeForce battles around, mid-2014, now we're sort of mid-2018. What do you attribute that work ethic to? You seem to really enjoy battling.
Yeah, it's literally just that.
Yeah.
Like, it got to a point where, I wasn't really getting the right battles or opponents, and you might know sort of slowed down. It might have been a year or two after that, and a lot of my friends would sort of say to me like, "Oh, why are you still doing it? You're not getting paid. Why'd you do it?" Or people that people like work colleagues who have just sort of got into it, and they ask me all these questions. They're like, "What? You don't get paid?" And everyone, and it's like, I don't care. Like, I enjoy it so much. Like, and the fact that especially now I've slowed down a bit and don't do it all the time, because it does start to feel a bit like work, all the memorising and that. But I think the payoff's quite a lot. I think that's why it's worth it. I just enjoy it, and I'm getting fucking paid from it now anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, which is excellent. And your next battle that I want to focus on is the Twisted Pennies clash, which we're speaking about crowds that don't respond the way you want to earlier. This is pretty bad, right?
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, where I wrote a bar or a couple of bars, going at what was it? It was from Leicester, and like. I did it when I battled in Scotland. I said to one of my mates, "Is there anything I can say about, like Glasgow football team?" And they actually gave me, didn't give me the bar, but said, "Well, this has happened to Glasgow."
Yeah.
Blah blah. They were about to, they lost all their money, and I actually made a bar out of it. It was quite a good bar, and it split the crowd. Half of them cheered because half of them aren't going to be Rangers fans, but they'll be Celtic or whatever. If you go to Leicester and just this Leicester, like Leicester City, like they're all going to fucking boo you, and they did. But it was mad. Like, and I'm quite proud that, because not only did they really boo me when I say that line, when they announced my name, they booed me, and I'd never had that, and I was like, hold on a minute, and you could tell these weren't battle fans. Do you know what I mean? They would just come along and they were just supporting the guy who was from Leicester, and it's like, it doesn't matter what I say, and I'll put my hands up, fucking Twisted Pennies was sick, it was a fucking close battle, but. If that was in front of a different crowd, it would have been completely different. But I'm proud of the fact that I managed to just sort of hold it together whilst there was these two girls just sort of dancing in the front, you know what I mean? There was this guy booing me. But, like I say, I brought some of it on myself. The Leicester bar as well, this is quite a fun fact for you here. Not really fun, but anyway. Right. Basically, like I say, my mate, I said about football, is there anything I can say? And he was like, basically, Leicester are like about to get relegated. You know what I mean? They're about to get kicked out of the Premier League. Maybe you could say something about that. And I was like, oh shit. And I think the bar was something like, oh no, that was it. They just got into the Premier League and then they were just about to get relegated again. So I'd said a bar about, you're new to the league, but soon you will leave. There was some sort of multi like that. And it worked. Like, they got what I meant. They booed me and reacted quite badly. But Leicester actually went on to win the Premier League really unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't follow football. I don't know if you do, didn't you? I'm sure.
Yeah, familiar with it. Yeah.
And it was very unexpected. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Looking back on that, and everyone was just like, "What? They just won the league?" And I was like, "Yeah, but at the time, fucking hell, you know what I mean? I didn't know." So I tried to stay away from football bars. You'll see if an opponent talks about football or wrestling or even a film I haven't seen. I do love my films and that, but you know. You'll just see me put a face up. I don't know. I've got a clue what he's talking about. Like, often, if it's a football bar, whether I'm in the battle or I'm just in the crowd, like, me and Earl will look at each other and be like, "Oh, he's got a fucking clue. Like, what's he talking about?" Like, Earl has no idea with football either. Like, but my mate is well into football, and he'll explain them to me, certain bars, and I'm like, that is fucking sick. Like, when I get them, you know what I mean? But can't get it straight off the bat if you don't follow it.
Next battle that I want to talk about briefly, I mean, we pretty much had Don't Flop flat out. We have skipped over Weedy in 2013 when you went over to Badmouth Battles. What was Battle Royale Entertainment? This is where you battled Jake the Ripper.
Ah, well, this was quite a random battle. Again, it was one of them ones where Jake the Ripper, he's really good, man. Like, he's one of, the best from Wales, and he just, for whatever reason, just fell apart in our battle. Like, he really... And obviously, it being on a very small league, and it's not my best, but I'm not bad. I think I've got quite a funny third round. But yeah, it was just one of them ones, like, obviously I'm in a, we used to do Act on Words with Tenchu. Still might be doing some more. We just had a little break, but I've known Tenchu for years, and he's putting on a league, and I was like, yeah, cool, you know what I mean? And I was like main event, you know what I mean? And I like sort of, the small events. Not that I can't get up on a stage and enjoy that, but like I do quite like those sort of events, and it was fun. You know what I mean? There was a few battles that were on that day. I can't remember his fucking name. He's quite good. I think he had his tryout versus Rivers.
Oh, Quack.
Yeah, Quack. He was there that day. He was quite good. And a couple of guys I'd never seen before were quite good. And like Jake the Ripper did have some really funny stuff, some clever stuff, some good name flips as well. But like, and when he did fall apart, he freestyled, and it was quite good. Because as much as I rate myself as a freestyler, like, it's so hard when you're just like, it's different if you're like one step ahead in your head and thinking of the next bar, but it's another when you fucking choke and just go, I've just got to say anything right away, and it's just like, he managed to kind of sort of smooth it out, and it was all right. But yeah, I mean, they kind of stopped. I think they're starting up again, Battle Royale, but Shocks, not obviously Shocks the Rebel, another guy, Shocks with two X's. He like runs it with Tenchu, and I think he was just trying to do too much, to be honest. He was trying to be the cameraman, the events organizer, and doing all this, and it was a bit that, I don't want to say shambles, but my mate, fortunately, one of Minnie's best mates, like, he's got a camera, he films for Act on Words and stuff, and he just whipped out, because we were supposed to be doing Act on Words that night, and that flopped because they didn't have mics, and it was awful, to be honest, the whole Act on Words side of it, because it never happened. But yeah, the guy ended up filming it on his iPhone. So that was why I told my mate just to get your camera out and just film it from another angle. And you'll see in the battle, actually, a lot of the camera angles were filmed sort of over my shoulder where my mate was, because he was fucking filming it on his fucking iPhone. And in the middle of, I don't think it was my round, I think it was middle of Jake the Ripper's round, he just didn't say excuse me. He just got off in the middle of the battle. And we were like, where are you going? Tenchu was freaking out. I was like, where the fuck are you going? He's like, no, just carry on. And we were like, we can't carry on because you're not filming it. And it was just like, and he had to go get a battery for his phone or so. No, sorry, that was it. The camera ran out, and that was when he came back with his iPhone. And we were like, oh, for fuck's sake, are you kidding me? Like, and people were walking past the camera. It was one of them. But I mean, the actual footage, like, didn't come out as bad as you would have thought it would. How the night was a bit of a shambles. But shame he choked. Other than that, I think it would have been a much better battle. But I rate him quite highly.
Was it fun to go to Amsterdam?
Amsterdam, yeah, it was great, man. It was great. Minnie and his brothers happened to be out there randomly at the same time. So I just, literally after my battle, just went off and fucking hung out with them. Like, it was quite cool. Yeah, it's great, man.
Did you have any encounter with Dirtbag Dan?
No, I didn't, annoyingly. Like, because I hadn't seen that Minnie and his brothers for a while, and it was just great that we happened to sort of just randomly be there at the same time. So I actually missed quite a bit of the event. I think Dirtbag Dan and Big J was on directly before me or directly after. Actually, no, I did see that live. No, it was just before me. I think I was behind Big J. Yeah, that was quite funny. But yeah, I did see him, and it wasn't just him. Like, Kruger's brother and who else was it? There was a couple of them were just fucking tripping their bollocks off. It was so funny. They're just sitting around smoking, and they're just all like giggling and dribbling, and you're just like, what's going on? And then you just suddenly realise, like, oh, they're tripping pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
But it was quite a surreal experience. But it was cool. You know, by that point as well, like, I'd sort of been away with a lot of the people quite a lot, so I sort of knew a lot of people quite well. Got to hang out with Soljitsu and Willsy a bit. I was practicing my bars with them. It was cool to hang with them because I'd never really hung out with them much at events. They're cool guys. But yeah, it was a great day. The battle itself, Jolly J, he's great.
Yeah, he has some great material in this battle.
And I knew he would, like, and I think we're quite well suited as well. I think we've got similar styles. Like he's a bit more, I don't know about intricate, but he's a bit more bar-y than me. But like he does approach battles in similar ways that I do, and yeah, it came out really well. I thought. I mean, it could have come out better. Like I say, the crowd were a bit, and I think, I don't know. Even though looking back on it now, at the time I was a bit like, oh yeah, like this is sick. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've proper found my feet. But I think I've learned more. I've just kind of sort of learning things, what not to do. Because you can't read the room until you're there. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, this might go off, this might not. It's just like, oh, I only put the stuff in that I think's definitely going to go off. You know, oh, this might do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, yeah, this is a really good battle as well. Maybe a little slept on, 27,000 views, deserves a bit more shine. I mean, here we see maybe, I mean, I know there were still big events like Birmingham where you've battled Jay Dillon, but let's say the training days where you battled Jay Short, which fair enough, those aren't attended too much, but exclusively Sunburn 3 where you battled Evil, there weren't many people there, right?
No, it was the first battle of the day.
Ah, okay.
And those. I mean, even if you look at, I think Shuffle T versus Raptor, which is the main event, fucking great battle. So glad I got to see that live. But yeah, like you could see the room's a lot more packed, but it wasn't. It was still probably only about half full for Brixton Jam, really. So that early on in the day, that is why I'm again quite proud of that, because that's massively slept on. I know a lot of people don't really like Evil, but for my performance, I think it was really good. That's when people started like actually being like, hold on. He's all right, you know what I mean? But it was very early on in the day, and there weren't that many people, but I was still managing to get like quite a big noise out of a small amount of people. Like if you watch it back, and it's like, yeah, they are like, you know what I mean? They're proper getting into it. But to be fair to Evil, he got there fucking really early and just drank all morning.
Yeah.
And that's why his rounds are so long. Like he doesn't rap particularly fast. If you notice, he is rapping quite slow. And it stretches out his rounds really long, and they're really drawn out. And he does he does a lot of flips as well, which extends his rounds. So he does seem to waffle on a bit. But yeah,
it's a fun clash. And as I say, your final 3, which I've been privy to, I think you definitely beat Lazy. And I'm a Lazy fan, a good friend of mine, but I think he wasn't prepped, and you just took him out.
Yeah, it's the same with like the Juan battle. You know what I mean?
You battled Juan. I was actually there for that.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was, and I remember that battle. I think it was like the second battle of the day or something like that. Maybe even the first. I'm not quite sure.
I think it was the first. Yeah,
because it was day 2. Yeah, it was day 2 because like Chiller versus C headline and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd never seen Juan before. Obviously, I knew you, and I thought he was quite decent. Didn't he take the W? Yeah. It was
unjudged.
It was unjudged. Okay.
It was supposed to be outside.
Okay.
That battle was supposed to be like a smoke break battle.
Yeah.
And my opening bar was about how the reason we did it outside is because he's too young to get in the venue or something like that. And Bamalam comes up to me and he's like, "Yeah, you've got to do it inside." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, and you're on in about 5 minutes." So I was like, "Mate," I explained the situation. He was like, "Come on, man, you could do it." And he kind of sort of put me on the spot, and I literally just put myself in the corner of the room and just paced around in circles for like 5 minutes and rewriting it in my head. And I just changed it to something like, this battle was supposed to be outside but now he found his idea. I literally had to rewrite it, and it had like fewer multis in it as well. It kind of, you know what I mean? But I managed to just chuck it in. I was like, just make it work. And I did a little flip at the beginning as well. And it's, yeah. But I was saying about that battle, I won that battle based on, him not performing as well because he was new to it.
Yeah.
It was the same as whoever we were talking about a second ago. Lazy, yeah. Like when they're on it, like if I battled Juan now, he'd beat me. And if I battled Lazy on another day, he may beat me. You know what I mean? I don't think that, I destroyed either of them. I think a lot of that was down to performance, but that's part of it. If you can perform better than someone and have strong material, like, you deserve the W. You know what I mean? And Juan's learned that. Like, you don't see him fucking stumble ever. Like, he's always gets it out very clean. You know what I mean? He might see one or two, but he's pretty clean. You know what I mean?
And the latest battle, which went down at Chalked Outs Volume 3 against Mos Prob, you know, that this battle should have happened years ago, one of those sort of things, and it came together so well. It did go on the King of the Dot channel, however, because of the merger. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was pretty fucking happy about it. I'm not going to lie. You know, I see a few people going, "You're not really on King of the Dot, though, are you?" It's not what I fucking am. Do you know what I mean? Right. I didn't go to Canada and battle out there, but fucking, I'm on the channel. Like, and half these people saying that, I don't know. Like, I was watching King of the Dot, like when it started. You know, right from the beginning. Like before Don't Flop was about, just, you know, when Grind Time was still there, but like actually, no, Grind Time was still going quite strong actually at the time. So it was like off the back of Jump Off to Grind Time, King of the Dot. I watched it right from the beginning, man. All the little freestyle battles and that. Fucking absolutely loved it. Yeah, so to be on that, I was over the moon, not going to lie. Like, I had no idea as well. I'm like quite friendly with Frankie as well. Do you know what I mean? We chat a bit and that, and he just didn't tell me. Like, I didn't know about Soul and Dialect, you know, volume 2. Like, I found that out about 5 minutes before. And I'm well matey with Natrill as well and his stuff, and they just kept it so quiet. And then when I found out there was a surprise battle, I just basically got it out of them. But yeah. But being on King of the Dot, sorry, as I was saying, that was, proper chuffed about that, man. I'd say, you know what I mean? It obviously opens doors. I was gutted that I couldn't get on Empire. That was a great event as well.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But they said, you know, this isn't like some one-off event. Like, they're going to be doing this regularly. It's a merger. It's not just a one, you know what I mean? So there's more opportunities to come. So hopefully, Ambi said to me, if the Mos Prob battle goes well, this is it, you know what I mean? We'll start giving you better opponents. And then that event came up and it sort of didn't happen. He was like, "Don't worry," like he said, you know what I mean? We'll be putting you on cards. And I've been getting so many offers, man. Like one of my favourite battlers, I'm not going to name any names. I fucking went, you know what I mean, on my break at work the other day, opened up my phone, had 2 messages from 2 separate league owners saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to try and get this battle for you." And it's like, you know what I mean, one of my favourite. And I was like, okay, and I'm getting decent opponents now. Did you hear who I'm battling next? They announced it yesterday.
You're battling Matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big battles coming now, man, yeah.
Yeah, Matter's been on a tear since forever. Like, that guy's always been great.
Yeah, not going to lie, hopefully this all won't come out till after the battle, so you won't hear it anyway. But yeah, I'm fucking, you know, I'm like, shit, Matter's good. I'm not going to say that in the battle, you know what I mean? I can say afterwards, yeah, you're good, but you know what I mean? He is good, so I've got to really pull out all the stops for this, you know what I mean?
So 2018 looking to be busy again for you, the rest of it?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to space them out. I'm trying to not overdo it. I was supposed to be battling, doing an on-beat thing as well, but that kind of fell through. Yeah, like I said again, I want to get back on King of the Ronalds. I'm going to be doing something on there definitely in the next couple of months. Obviously, this matters on Dub Scandal. Like I've even had you know, asking me to battle, but I couldn't make this event that he wanted me on. So yeah, I've got, like I said, I've been getting loads of offers, but it's that point now where I can kind of be like, it's not even pick and choose my opponents because they're actually offering me good people. It's just whether I can get the time off work, or you know what I mean, I'm not doing a battle like a couple of weeks before because I don't want to do a shit performance. So I try and get relatively spaced out because I've got a life and a job. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. But still, if you just continue on the pace that you are, like, you know, there's going to be some great clashes. Looking forward to seeing the matchups. Like, what Premier Battles was that offered? No,
but I won't lie. I did actually, when it actually, you know, I actually got to see a couple of battles because this is why I didn't subscribe, and I haven't subscribed now either because I'm just watching the battles for free. There's so many free battles around, but it looks great. Like I hope it works. I'm dubious. I'm honestly dubious, like because it's so different. But I really hope it does. Like, and even if I'm not involved in it, just as a fan, I'm a massive fan of battle rap, and it will kind of hopefully fill that void. You know, I know Don't Flop's coming back, but I don't know if it can be what it was going to be. You know, and if you know, hopefully, you know, if chalked out with the King of the Dot merge doesn't work, you know, maybe Premier Battles is the place to be. But I'm happy to battle anywhere at the moment. You know what I mean? They're offering me good opponents, offering to pay, so I'm just like, yeah, like. But yeah, Premier Battles, I think if it works, it's definitely something I'd like to do. I've spoken to Briggsy about it. It's just, I'm not going to name any names, you know, certain battlers that are just very inconsistent. And they're like top tier guys, you know what I mean? Everybody has eyes, but they're just inconsistent. And I just think, you know, you could have someone like me on the bench just to jump in. You know what I mean? I'm consistent. I can give anyone a run for their money, I reckon. You know what I mean? I could get, you know, I'm on a good day. So I think I'd be a good person to have on a team. But like I say, I'm not holding back to see how well they do. I've already offered to say, look, you know what I mean? But I think it'll probably be obviously next season.
Yeah.
If it does happen. And I'd like to see, you know, more teams and more managers and that. So, yeah, hopefully that definitely something I'd be up for, man.
Yeah, it's in its demo phase at the moment, really. There's been a few hiccups along the way, but that's going to happen with a new format. And the quality of battles has been pretty outstanding. The reaction's been really strong as well. So, you know, shout out to Premier Battles as always. But we'll close up with a few quick-fire questions for you, Mr. Tongue Twister. First of all, what is your favourite Don't Flop battle?
Don't Flop battle probably have to be something like the compliments battle.
Which one?
The you know, Big J
and
Lefty
Shufflo,
versus Shufflo.
Amazing.
Or and this, I think I said this the last time when we originally did it. When
The last episode.
When you accidentally deleted it. I was definitely. I don't feel like, you know, I haven't watched it in so long. But back in the day, I used to watch this battle, and you know, like on a weekly basis, and show it to people. It's Definition versus Holly Holster.
Oh yeah,
I just
Classic.
thought that was the funniest battle ever, and that was just when Definition had just found his feet. That's why it was really cool. You know what I mean? He'd been battling for a while. He had some big opponents, and he was good, but he'd never really like smashed it. And he came out to this girl, and she was good. That's what makes a good battle. It wasn't one-sided. Like, she did choke in the third round, but her first two rounds are really good. I was really gutted that she never came back, man, because I think she'd be great.
Yeah, that's good answer, man. What about King of the Dot?
Yeah. I actually did watch this not that long ago. Is Kid Twist versus Dumbfounded.
Oh,
it's so funny.
Yeah.
But there are so many, man. I'm kind of just pulling one out. I did see that recently, but I do love that battle, man.
Excellent. Yes. URL? Are you a URL fan?
Not really. I've seen a few though. What was the one I fucking? I like, is it Hitman Holler? I quite like him. You know, his little brother. I can't remember what one it is.
Oh yeah.
I know he does it in every battle. But
he sort of does. Yeah, Surf. It gets done. Yeah, quite a bit.
There's one that and his opponent's quite good. Or obviously, you know, you've got Lux and is it Calico?
Yeah.
The one where that's the one where he comes out with the coffin and that.
Of course, yeah. Get this work.
Yeah. So you know, more with that is, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be pulling out some random because I don't, to be honest, don't really watch URL.
Sure.
Oh no, another one I do love though actually is Real Deal versus
B Magic.
B Magic. Yeah, It was the first time I saw B Magic and was like I say, you know, you can probably tell I prefer the sort of more joking guys, but I love bars as well. I love rapping. You know what I mean? It's not like I only like jokes, you know. And I was like, fucking hell, this guy's sick. But it was mainly more for just how Real Deal just played the whole like white guy thing, and like they just loved him. Like, and you could see. I think that's probably Real Deal's best battle.
Yeah, certainly, definitely up there. Soul Battle as well. He was very good, and there's a few other ones. The Saurus Battle was great. So, final two questions. What's your favourite film?
Do you know what I'll say? I wouldn't, because it's just such a hard question.
Yeah,
but I'll say something more recent. Is the Avengers Infinity Wars, man. I saw that in the cinema. First time I've been to the cinema in years as well. And I had like very high expectations. I'm a bit of a, you know, like Marvel fan. Used to read all the comics and that when I was younger, and still read them a bit now. But I had very high expectations, man. And it didn't let me down. I was fucking well impressed with that film. Really fucking enjoyed it, man.
And finally, your favourite musical artist or bands that are in no way hip hop related?
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I think I remember you saying that before. I remember,
So they're a bit rappy in a way.
I suppose a little bit earlier on. Yeah. Definitely.
It's like I could say James Brown, but then, you know, to me, he's like, without James Brown, there is fucking no hip hop in a way, really. But James Brown is what I'd say. All
right, well, this has been great, man. I guess finally, how do people get at you? Your music, social media?
Facebook, Chris Twist Taylor. Twitter, Mr. Tongue Tweeter. Instagram is, I think it's just, Mr. Tongue Twister. I only just set that up recently, actually. But get on me with that because I'm putting loads of stuff up on there at the moment. But got, you know, like I said before about Act on Words, we haven't actually got anything lined up, but we have had a couple of things in the works, like behind the scenes. I don't want to say anything, but we've done some cool stuff, man, that might come out at some point. So look out for Act on Words on all social media as well.
Brilliant, man. We'll put the links down below. please, follow the show as well if you enjoy the show at BattlerapreSume. Get in touch with me, battlerapresume@gmail.com. Got the Patreon there if you want to support, you want to give back, you want to get access to episodes like these weeks, months before they come out. iTunes review as well. But Twist, so happy that we finally got to this episode.
Yes, man. Yeah, try not to delete it.
No, I'm gonna edit it straight away. Gonna upload it. I'm gonna make sure. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Go check out the battles again that we discussed. And Twist,
thank you, man. See you soon.